It's just me and the one of y'all. That's okay. It's just us. We can just hang out, you and me and whoever you are. It's going to be the best. I figured, why not? Got the time, got the will. Let's do a quick live stream. Just hang out. So, hey, what's up, Hans? Let's see. Donnie O'Keefe, Sindus, Truth Faction, TW Smiley, Pata Sanchez. What's going on, everybody? My lovely and talented helpmate. You need to plug that up?
Yeah.
I'll trade you. You gonna go to the bathroom?
Okay. Go to the bathroom.
Don't do that
on the luxury of peeing.
Don't do it on camera. You could pee off the porch if you wanted to. It just get really weird for the new SNL. What's up, Franklin Farmstead? Cole Adkins, Russ Bucket, Josh. Tell us what is on your mind, brother T. A couple of things. Had an absolutely awesome Shabbat. We got a new building for Refuge Medical, and it's considerably larger than the building that we were in. It's large enough that we can also host Shabbat for our entire tribe there. And we did that for the first time ever today. In fact, it's the first official use that the building has had. There's zero Refuge Medical stuff in it currently. But we got the tribe together today and we fellowshipped, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Shalom Bear, the brothers are just finishing up a men's group Monday Zoom meet. We'll be here soon. Awesome. Thank you, Gus. So we had a great time of fellowshipping today. It was a really, really good time. Monday, I'm going to move my drums over there, and I'm looking forward to having my drums set up in a spot where I can play, not whenever I want to, but more regularly. So that's going to be cool. And so that was good. And then I have before I move to that, it's just really encouraging when you get all your people together and everybody's of like mind, and you don't have to worry about, is this person a scumbag? Is that person a weirdo? Is anybody going to try to do anything stupid? I wonder what they think about XYZ. It's like, no, more or less, you're a homogenous group of people. And it's a really special thing. And I don't think it's something that, we all know that we're blessed, but I don't think we all realize how blessed we are on the regular. It takes an occasion like today where you get your people together and you look around and it's like, my heart is so full with the awesomeness of Yah and these people that he has blessed me with right now. It's a beautiful thing. And so that was really good. And we study the word in a midrash style, where basically today's Torah portion via Shev, and he settled, talking about the generations of Yaakov or Israel and his sons. He settled in the land of Canaan. And then, so what does his sons go and do? And it's Genesis 37 through 40, Genesis 40, and then Amos 2, 6 through 3, 8, and then Matthew 1, 18 through 25. And so we did that today. I am definitely a weirdo, but a squared away weirdo. I feel you, homie. And so, Florida Man Prepper, shalom. And so, we study Midrash style. So we'll read a chapter and then we'll go back and review it pretty much verse by verse by verse by verse. And if you have something to add, you just raise your hand and you speak your mind. And as I tell my people, and I mean it, if I am the only person with the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, we're screwed, man. Like, we are screwed. And so it's really cool when you get a room full of people, everybody sitting in circles upon circles upon circles, just studying the word and everybody offering their input. And it's just a blessing, man. It's a really good blessing. And it fills me up. So Shalom, Badger, exactly. Fill up all your vessels, like the lady in 2 Kings with the oil and Elijah, or Elisha rather. So that was a really good thing about today. Lots of fellowship, lots of good food, lots of study of the Word. Maiden voyage of the new building, awesome. And then I'm probably gonna shoot a video for YouTube tomorrow. I was thinking about it this morning, and based upon a number of comments that I've been seeing, I'm going to shoot a video for YouTube tomorrow. I don't know when it'll post, but in my typical fashion, I'll piss a bunch of people off, and it's going to be titled "You're a Itch," and it's going to be addressed to all the men out there whose wives feel the need to email us and message us and reach out to us, wondering what they can do to get their husband to take a position of headship in their home, or to get into preparedness, or to step into the role that Yah has made for them. And Paul addresses this, Shaul of Tarsus, in his epistles of how do you know, O wife, that your righteousness won't win a husband? It doesn't mean that the wife shouldn't try and win her husband with her righteousness, but it does mean that the natural order of things, the godly order of things, is that the husband is the spiritual leader, the priest of his home, and that the blessings flow through Yah, from Yah through the husband to the wife and the family. And if you are failing to do that to the point where your wife has to reach out to me to ask me how she's going to square you away, your house is completely out of order. And I've got some strong words for those people, both the women who are asking strong words of encouragement and the men who need to have their wives ask some strong words of condemnation, because I'm not good at sugarcoating things, and I think it just needs to be said. So, but yeah, so that'll be Arkansas living. What's up, brother? Prairie preparedness. That's exactly right. Folks can't take care of business now, and it's not going to get any easier. That's exactly right. Hold on. This is not for show, but there's a SWAT tee in my back pocket, or a soft tee rather, and it's making my ass cheek hurt. So, fun opinion: Conor McGregor's whiskey brand isn't half bad. Haven't tried it. So, you want to pull up a chair, sweetheart?
Yes.
Let's clear the deadness out of the way. Oh, please put your trays in the upright position. We're preparing for launch. Welcome to the beta male generation. Well, here's the thing, though. It's not just this generation. It's lots of men throughout all of the generations. Chad Netherton, shalom, brother. Best hair in the Bear Nation, Chad Netherton. Also, beautiful handcrafted teepees. Although your wigwam game is lacking, bro. When are you going to get on the wigwam bandwagon? Hi, sweetie.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good. I have a good cup.
Yeah, you do. How was your day today?
It was good.
Yeah. What made it good?
It was Shabbat.
Mm.
It was Shabbat, and we got to fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
And what was incredible was we only had about half of our tribe there.
Mm-hmm.
And we are still a formidable group of people.
We are.
Even at 50%,
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool when you look around and you're like, gosh dang, I love every one of these people. Not like, oh, I don't know about that gym guy over there. I'm not so sure about him,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Shalom, everyone.
Being told I have to have a vaccine or my wife and I will lose our jobs. Cedar Ridge Ranch, I hate that for you, it's time to pivot, homie. Here's the thing. All right. I don't know you, so this is not me attacking you, okay? And this is also not me being insensitive. But let me just say what I need to say. Oh, hi, Tater. You are capable of many things. You may be comfortable at what it is that you're doing now, but you're capable of many things. And your skills go with you everywhere. They weigh nothing. Your skills go with you everywhere. And so if you've made it into adulthood thus far, you probably know how to get up on time and show up to work and do a good job and be a good human being. And while it seems very scary that you might lose your job, whatever that job may be, whether you've got a month or a year or a decade or 4 decades with said company, it's not the end of the world. And we are commanded to fear nothing but Yahweh our Elohim, the Lord our God. Mm-hmm. And so everything else, it's all fear-based. The pandemic, the real pandemic is fear.
Yep.
And you need to not be afraid of anything because it is not profitable for you materially or spiritually, and it gets in the way of Yah's ability to do his job, which is provide for you, protect you, and bless you. And so if you're rolling around with fear of what may come, it's not going to help you at all. Mm-hmm. And so I think you need to see it much more as doors opening. This is an opportunity for you to pivot from what you're doing to what Yah needs you to be doing than for you to be subservient to this man-made system of fear that's going around. So,
well, each pivot tends to lend to growth.
Yes.
Like every time you pivot, you grow as a human being. You grow in knowledge. I know I've grown in knowledge, grown in faith, grown in relationship, and it's challenging.
Every time.
Extremely challenging, but damn if it doesn't pay off. Like
we were just talking about that with Pastor today.
Mm-hmm.
There was another brother who's like, so what exactly is your backstory? And we gave the last 10 years in a nutshell in 2 or 3 minutes. And there's we've done a lot of amazing things and made a lot of pivots and big jumps in the last decade. Mm-hmm. So
hell, in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
For sure.
Like ever since Bear Independent started, it has been like we had our pivots before then, but we had a little bit of longer space between each pivot. And since Bear Independent has started, I can't tell you how many times we've had to pivot. Like it's been a lot in that 4 years. So
that same brother brought up Deuteronomy 28 verse 8 says, Deuteronomy 28 starts with, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, then you will be blessed. And it goes on to the fruit of your field and the fruit of your loins and your storehouses. And it literally says in verse 8 that all the work of your hands shall be blessed. And he said, man, you're living that. I was like, dude, I really appreciate that. Because I try to be a diligent listener to Yah. I'm obviously not perfect at it. None of us are. We wouldn't need an intercessor. But I try to listen. And
you also have a lot of people around you that when you don't get it, he lets them know. And they then tell you, and you're like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
So, but that whole, blessed in everything you put your hand to will be blessed. And I very much so feel that way, and this is not me tempting Yah. I don't want to be Job 2.0 and have everything that I've ever had taken from me, including the people, most importantly, including the people that I love. But even then, I would still praise him. And the fact that he has seen fit to work with and bless a wretch like me is just awe-inspiring. But yeah, I mean, in everything that we've done, he, whatever the pivot looked like, it was like, oh, have some of this blessing. Oh, you're going to go over here and do this thing? Boom, here's some of that blessing. Like, it's no matter where you turn, there is Yah, and he just wants to shower his kids with love. and provision, protection, blessing. So bear on skis. Pretty much. This is a diesel, Chad. Baron Hami, if you could only see all of our faces watching you instead of just the camera, you would know you've had a great impact. Thanks to God. Well, Moonlight, praise y'all, man. I mean, that's a talk about a pivot. I never intended to be a voice box for Yah. I never intended to read the Bible on camera. That was never in my plan. And he punched me in the forehead enough times to make me realize my plan doesn't matter. It's his plan. And here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So 45 old, Chad. You
That's
definitely
pretty
have
damn
that Indian blood.
45-year-old.
You look younger than I do. I can recall an old video where you said you never talked, and now that's a big part of your job. Talk about that.
What?
You praying over somebody who would talk to you.
Oh, yeah. So he's literally everything I prayed for.
Praise God.
But I will also say my first husband also was too, which is why I became very careful with my words when I pray, because I got exactly what I asked for. But one of the things that I prayed for was somebody that could just have a conversation with me and that wanted to have a conversation with me and that would listen, and just the ability to communicate, because to me that is one of the most important things in a relationship, is you have to have the ability to communicate. And he's the first person I've had that type of communication with.
But I didn't talk to anybody but you.
Right.
Until a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't. I was not a talker.
No.
That's not what I did. That wasn't my gifting. And then one day, I guess, just pulled the ripcord in my back. And
we met on the internet, and I emailed him, and I wrote him about a paragraph asking questions and stuff. And when he replied, like printed out, it probably would have been 3 pages.
Now that's got to tell you something for those that know me, because I don't do email.
And I got it, and I was like, oh, okay, like this guy can talk. That's good. And we, like, ever since then, yeah, he's been the talker. And when we did construction, like, he always, all the clients loved T and me, but
I would tell them, you're going to like me, then you're going to hate me, then you're going to love me, because that's the natural progression of a construction project.
Right.
You got to like me to hire me. Then I'm going to do all the things you hired me to do, and it's going to get really inconvenient for me, and you're going to start to hate me, and then you're going to want to change the scope, and I'm going to tell you no. And then you're going to want to spend money you don't have, and I'm going to tell you no. Then you're going to want to quit. I'm going to tell you no. And then you might even want to fire us. I'm going to say no. And then we're going to finish, and it's going to be everything you wanted and then some, and then you're going to love us. Yeah. And I would tell, I've never been good at sugarcoating. I mean, I've only, in the last 4 years figured out how to like use my, talk for a living. Mm-hmm. But I would tell clients this the first time I met them. Hey, this is the way it's going to go. Let me manage your expectations now. Mm-hmm. And then when they would get pissy in the middle of the job, I'd be like, I told you this was going to happen. This is where we are in the process. You need to just hang in there. I understand you haven't had your kitchen in 3 weeks. How do I know? Because I've been here for 3 weeks rebuilding your kitchen. It's going to be okay. So, but yeah, talking. Never. Here I am, and it's a thing. Yep.
Nope, can't put that genie back in the bottle.
Well, there are times I get frustrated because it is my job to talk now, right? Like
Mhm.
that's a big part of what I do. And sometimes I don't want to.
No. Yeah.
Nothing against y'all, but sometimes I just don't want to turn the camera on and talk. And I certainly don't want to talk about stuff sometimes that I've already talked about 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I also know that has like a direct negative impact on the businesses, which have a direct negative impact on the daily lives of us and the people that we love. And it's like, so I got to show up and talk, comma, if I don't want to, like we've actually determined, and of course this makes sense, but in the moment you don't think about it. It's better for me to not show up and talk at all if I don't want to than it is for me to show up and do it poorly because I don't feel like doing it. But sometimes it's like, yeah, it does press pause. And it's like, today you're not talking. Today is not the day for you to go flap your jaws. You need to be doing something else. And I'm trying to get better at listening to that because it is very draining, believe it or not, to have to show up and talk all the time.
Well, it's any job. Any job can be draining.
That's true.
And this is just your job. So, yeah, sometimes you feel like it, sometimes you don't.
Patty's right, though. But
Almond Joy said nuts. Mounds don't.
Patty Sanchez is correct, but when he's done talking, he's done.
He is done.
Yeah.
It's really funny to watch. I just stand back.
I don't have a gray area. Mm-mm. I have very few gray areas, and that's one of them.
Yeah. Whereas I'm all gray.
Yeah.
But I am. I see all the sides. Like, and it drives people crazy because I'll agree with you, but then I'll also be like, but I also understand how that person thinks this, and I see all the angles.
Yeah. Intel. Intel, direct action. Hey, it could be this, this, and this. I'm like, I'm going to Pareto principle this, and I'm going to decide that it's this. So, but, you're talking about talking. This is a concept that's been coming up over and over again the last few weeks. If life and death is in the power of your word, and that's biblical, life and death is in the power of your word. How much more so the little things? You do need to be careful what you're putting out there with your mouth. Mm-hmm. We were talking about this at the Midrash earlier, and a brother brought it up to me about 10 days ago. Like, this is why Yeshua equates calling your brother an idiot to murder, because you've stolen from him any confidence that he had in your relationship. You've killed that man for all intents and purposes, right? Like, you murdered your brother when you call him an idiot. Like, you could just watch somebody's entire countenance fall. Like, they just deflate. You're like, you fucking idiot. You're like, that's it. Like, you've degraded that person to the point where they can't count on you anymore. That relationship has suffered. You might as well have killed them. They're dead to you, right? And so if calling your brother an idiot is the equivalent of murder, according to the Son of God, how much more so all these other things? It's like, you really need to be careful. Like you were saying, be careful what you pray for because you're going to get it. You really need to be careful what you put out there with your mouth.
Choose your words wisely.
I mean, the sages say that the creation story with Yah is Yah speaking the world into existence. That's why Adam names all the animals, and their names are their characteristics, like you big old dog. Hi, Sam. What? Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom. Am I famous on the internet? I did a murder. I killed some bad dogs. Giant. Look at this giant.
He's a beast.
And so, I guess, just to reiterate, be careful what you put out there with your mouth, right? Speak positivity. Think, and this is not some new agey bullshit. Speak positivity. Think good thoughts. Focus on the good stuff. Be not given to a spirit of fear, because you let that negativity in, and then all of a sudden you start manifesting all these negative things, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of negativity.
Mm-hmm.
You put out bad vibes, you got bad vibes. You reap what you sow, right? And so sow good stuff, use good words, lift people up, think good thoughts, do good, meaningful things. Well, you are getting double love, aren't you? Oh, yeah, Dad. Oh, yeah. I just came from Mom. Sam. Hi. What is it? What is it? I know, you big old thing. What is it? They're bad dogs. Hi. Well, Hans,
Are you hungry?
I appreciate that, but they're not my words. The Yeshua's words, and I just get to borrow them occasionally. What kind of plates do you run on your dog? Not a thing. That dog is 120 pounds and runs really fast and jumps really high and breaks coyote necks in one single swipe of his head. Seen him do it, and I don't intend to weigh him down with anything. He is just the perfect dog for what we need. So, Robert Martins, bless you. Moonlight copy. Cedar Ridge Ranch, been on Patreon for 1.5 years now. Thank you for your content. Well, thank you. Thank you for supporting the show. I mean, I feel like on Patreon, we get to have more intimate conversations because there's fewer of us. And I don't mean to degenerate our relationship, but it's a lot like when you charge a cover charge at a bar. There's a lot fewer a-holes in the bar when you got to pay to get in than, when it's open mic night,
Get all the crazies.
You get all the crazies, right? Everybody thinks they're somebody, and everybody's got to tell you all the reasons you sang the song wrong and you suck and blah, blah, blah. It's like there's something about charging a $5 cover charge that all of a sudden people got a little bit of a vested interest. And so I like the intimacy of Patreon. I feel we can be far more candid on Patreon than we can on YouTube. And it's one of the things that wears me out on YouTube because I'm really bad at self-censoring, especially in the moment. And that's why it's taxing.
I don't know anything about that.
No.
I don't know how to censor myself at all.
Yeah, we're passionate people. We're passionate people.
Oh, that's your foot.
That is my foot. You can pet it, though, if you want. No zoomies and no zealots in this VIP lounge. People want to be here. I agree. So, what are we doing this coming week, sweetheart?
Well, we're celebrating in 2 days. And then, now that you're not going to Georgia, we're going to do some sheep shit.
Sheep shit. It's up to Yeah, we are. I got a week of farmer stuff to do.
Yeah.
We have a week of farmer stuff to do.
And then we're going on a little mini vacay.
Then we're going on a little mini vacay.
And then...
That's going to be cool. Us and a couple other couples and a brother are going to go do a thing somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awesome.
And then I'm flying to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, you are. And then you're driving from Charlotte back to here. And then your sister's flying in from the Pacific Northwest to meet you here. You're driving back with your mother.
Right.
And then your sister's going to drive here. And then drive the rest of the way from here out to the West Coast with your mom. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Road trip. Road trip. We are farmers. Dun, 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 dun. I brought me to Torah.
I would love to come to Montana.
Patty Sanchez, bless you.
Montana is beautiful. I've been there many times.
Well, now that my truck is fixed again, not necessarily me, but the truck has to make a trip to Montana to go pick up a wind turbine. My truck was supposed to be
not in February, or not in now.
It's got a 4-wheel. My truck was supposed to be done 2 weeks from now, and they called on Monday and were like, "Hey, yeah, your truck's done. You gonna come get it?" And I was like, "I live in Oklahoma, and you're in Macon, Georgia, and it's about to be Thanksgiving." And they're like, "Well, when do you think you can get here?" I was like, "Hell, I don't know. I will talk to you next week. We'll figure it out." I was like, "By the way, you told me it was going to take 3 weeks a week ago." They're like, "Well, parts come in." Okay, cool. But I'm not right up the road from you, so.
Montana people are going to have a brawl on where we go. Patrick Martin said, "I don't know where Milk Money lives, but my part of Montana is way better."
That's
and yes, northern Utah is beautiful as well. So it's Colorado.
Utah.
That's about it. Like, you get into Nebraska and
corn and white people.
Iowa.
Corn and white people.
Yeah. And even northern New Mexico is really pretty. Like, I like that part of the desert. And so is Arizona. Like, I love the red, like all the like cool rock formations that are out in Arizona. Shalom. And yeah, like everywhere is beautiful. It's all just beautiful in a different way. And like, I've literally lived from East Coast to West Coast and seen a lot. Like, I've never been to the Northwest, Northeast, like Maine.
Yeah, my neck of the woods.
Vermont, New York, Connecticut. I've never been there, but pretty much any other state in the, land, United States, I have been in. I've seen them all.
I've been all over the Northeast. I've been to every state east of the Mississippi, almost all of the states between the Rockies and the Appalachians, and I've been to most of the states west of the Rockies. What ended up being the problem with my truck? Transmission started slipping, and so and while they were swapping out the transmission, because I guess that's not in that truck, the 6-speed is a 69 HL something instead of a 4L 80E, which is the standard 1-ton transmission. And it's prone to, the issue is both Ford and GM, they collabed on the transmission, and Ford put the brain board, the computer box, outside of the transmission to keep it cool. GM put the brain box inside of the transmission to keep it clean. Well, all the heat from the transmission's inside the transmission, so they burn up. And so they're like, we can rebuild it, but it's going to burn up again. I was like, well, how about we not do that? And so I now have a Ford 69 HLW XLT Lariat Odin PL2 Mini Valkyrie transmission in my GMC truck, 6-speed automatic with overdrive and low end. In addition to, while they're swapping out the transmission, they because of the miles on the truck, they recommended that I go ahead and just do the seals on the transfer case for the 4-wheel drive while they're in there. And so they're doing that as well. And then apparently it also needed a mass airflow sensor, and the air intake and air filter were, in his words, absolutely filthy. Where do you live? What do you do? So I live in Oklahoma and I do what I want. And he said, can I clean it? I said, sure, go for it. It's like, okay, I'm going to clean it out. It's just absolutely filthy. Okay, sounds good. So did you get an Olight transmission? I did, and it's rechargeable, which is good. It's also, if you use promo code Viking, you get 20% off right now. So So that's the truck status. I love it here, but I'm going back to California soon. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Heard issues with Olights exploding after hard use. Hard use. Wouldn't want a transmission from them. Let alone more lights. I can see 3 Olights from where I'm sitting.
Right.
Hold on. 4, 5. One on my hip is 6. So, yeah, half a dozen within 10 feet of me currently.
Mm-hmm.
I've had nothing but good things to say about them. I think
they do get hot if you run them on like the super high.
Yeah,
for
I
a
literally
long time.
lit a cigar with this one. You can light a cigar with. I don't know if you guys can see on camera there, but the discoloration on the lens here. There you go. See that? That's semi-melted plastic from lighting a cigar with the Olight. So they definitely get hot. They get hot enough to light a cigar with.
But I haven't had one explode. I usually shut them off before they get too hot.
Well, you use an Olight every night to check on the sheep. Every night.
That's my sheep light. This one right here.
And PJ gave you that one, which is cool.
It is.
Very cool.
I like it.
And this, I don't know what this one is.
And this one quit working. I can't get this one.
M2R right Pro Warrior.
But the bottom's all like super corroded, so I think that might have.
You have that's the same one as this one.
Yeah.
It's just a different
it's
color.
Just orange.
Yeah. Well, let's put my battery in there and see if it's the battery.
I think it's the back though.
Well, we're gonna find out. It could be.
I could screw your back on this.
That's what I'm saying. It could be that it's not charged. Swap it up. Here, no, try the back end first.
This battery might be dead too.
That's what I'm saying. Because I'm going to test your cap on mine and see if it's the cap or the battery. Whoa! No, it's the battery. But it could be that the battery... Yeah, it's probably just the battery. Can I stop the battery? Sorry. Metallica, bro. So it didn't. Here, now put this battery in there with your cap. And I'll put your dead-ass battery in mine. And now we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's your battery. You cannot stop the battery.
We have extra ones.
I think we do. We're preppers. We tend to have extras of things. I have Olight on my gun. Yeah.
Oh, do I get to keep your battery?
I guess for now.
Take my crap.
Hey, look. An Olight PL Mini 2 Valkyrie XLT 4x4 unicorn rain dog puppy thing. So bright.
You just blinded the people.
They've been blinded by the light. Doucher in the night.
Doucher?
I don't know what the hell that guy says. Nobody knows what that guy says. Red
It's
Rover.
not doucher.
All right. Hold on. We got to look this up. I don't think anybody actually knows what that guy says.
I don't. I have like a red rooster
I don't
crowing
think
in the
it's
night or something like that.
We're going to find out. Blinded by the light lyrics.
This gets Googled all the time, I'm sure.
It's like blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce, another runner in the light. See, there is at least a deuce in there.
A deuce, but not a deuce.
Revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night. What does that even mean?
I don't know.
These guys were high as hell when they wrote these lyrics. Madman, drummers, bummers, Indians in the summer with a teenage diplomat in the dumps with the mumps as the adolescent pumps his way into his hat. With a boulder on my shoulder, feeling kinda older, I tripped the merry-go-round. With this very unpleasing sneezing and wheezing, the calliope crashed to the ground. High AF when this song was written.
Well, they are called Earth Band. What was it?
Manfred something. Manfred Mann's Earth Band.
Earth Band, yeah. So yeah, they were probably high.
Yeah.
Yeah, a deuce was a fast car.
A deuce is also a shit. So
It is. Yeah.
I mean, this
It
could
can
go
be
lots of
translated
ways.
either way.
Sounds like a Shel Silverstein poem. There you go. What's up, Watchman News? Haven't seen you in
I
a
love
while.
how everyone has to explain this to us now. Like we don't.
Guys, if it's not at least 300 BPM, I don't know what it is. Like, although I did have who was that? It was Rex. Rex texted me and put boy band lyrics into my head. Yeah.
Which boy band?
Damn it. Oh man. No, it was Backstreet Boys. I Want It That Way.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Tell me why. Yeah.
Yep.
Forever. That song is stuck in my head forever. Oh. Most bands those days are high AF, to be fair. Yeah, I'm not
That's what I'm
picking
saying.
just on them, but I am saying.
I never want to hear you say.
Trying to prepare for winter with no grid. That's a whole feat, man. That's a whole thing in of itself. Firewood S your friendo. Having boar issues on a family member's property. Planning on shooting a few. Any suggestions on what to do with the down boar? Touch not the unclean thing. Yeah, that's it. You touch not the unclean thing. Thermite, napalm, backhoe, dig a hole and use the bucket to push them into it.
Coyotes.
Yeah, I mean,
vultures. I mean, they'll destroy.
Dead boars
quick.
are a good way to also bait coyotes in, which you also then murder. So
We'll just put them all in the same big hole.
Well,
Yep.
depending. Like if they're just not wanting their land tore up, you don't really need to mess with the coyotes. If they're protecting livestock, that's another thing. So,
coyotes need to die.
no,
It's just they just need to
Just
die.
too many of 'em.
they
Matt
have
Hartley
a
gets
job. Just like pigs, just
Yep.
pigs mate like crazy.
Feed the dogs. Yeah, you could feed them to the dogs. Adding new wood heater to the homestead this weekend. That's awesome, Constitutional Homestead.
We need to get ours moved in. We're gonna add one too.
You already filled my week up in 12 minutes of talking earlier today.
Okay, we'll work on next week.
I literally don't know where in the country I'm going to be next week. I received my minimum man rocket stove. Never heard of them. Rex is
Is that like the
subversive.
little like aluminum thing? It's like a can, like a big.
Rocket
Looks
stove?
like a big can.
Most
Kinda.
rocket stoves look like that.
Yeah.
I don't know the Minutemen.
Dig yourself a murder hole. Yeah, pigs are just a thing, man. If you shoot them and leave them lay, the buzzards and the coyotes will take care of them.
Nature has a habit of that.
Yeah.
A little bit of experience.
Yeah. Well, and the other pigs will eat the dead pigs as well.
Right.
They're gross bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Just got off a 50-hour work week and cannot wait for tomorrow. That day of rest is going to feel good after church. Well, only Dakota enjoy it. 50 hours. Usually head that by Wednesday afternoon. Come on now. Rex is hilarious. Glad he's finally on Patreon. Yeah, I love Rex. That's a solid brother right there. And boy, does he know his stuff. Love my prepper notebook and can't wait for more things to be checked off as I do the things. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Tell them what you've been doing with the prepper notebook.
So I'm revamping it. We're adding a little bit to it, and then we're going to be working towards making it digital as well. So that's what I've been doing. You're broke.
Were you blinded by the light?
No.
Are you
Give
revved
me a
up like a
lighter.
doucher in the motor tonight?
I got one somewhere. I'm quicker than any pups. I'm not.
Thank you both. Thank you both.
I know the Hummy cookbook too. Well, now I can actually like maybe design the Hummy cookbook, but I'd still have to get all my recipes together when I don't cook by recipes, which is the hard thing, because then I actually have to take the time and like figure out how much of stuff I, on average, have a tendency of putting in things. Because generally, I can make the same dish and I never make it the same way like any other time. It's,
I don't know why you always make such a mess doing it.
I don't know. These
So,
like-
truth in advertising, I attempted to do this earlier, and I was doing the thing where you like hold the thing down and it'll vent it, and I accidentally clicked it while it was spilling out and set this and this on fire and threw them both across the porch. And I was very thankful that neither one exploded.
So also the thing is, it's full.
It's not full.
It absolutely is. So it's a baffle design, right?
Are you making fun of the
Empty?
fact that I can't see colors or what?
Full.
no, it's got like a gauge
Okay.
on it.
Maybe it just doesn't hold much fluid then.
No.
Oh, you got the.
Y'all got some bad gas.
Could have moisture in it with the cold weather, but
Mm.
it's
Butane.
also like a $2.
Are you holding a penknife?
No.
Oh, it's not a penknife?
He's gonna shank you.
Oh, don't shank me, bro.
Not on live stream.
Yeah, I mean, I've had worse. Can you put this cap on there, please? Thank you. These are
Thank
good
you.
problems to have. I agree. Oh man.
Well, Chad, when I make it, I will let you proofread it because
Send-
I am not the speller of camp.
Sindis, it's okay if you didn't meaningfully do it. There's a difference between sin is knowingly transgressing the law, right? I had a day one time around here. There's like one of the local gas stations makes pizza, and so they label it, cheese, beef, sausage, whatever, and they had labeled it beef, and so I got a couple slices, and and it was 3:00 in the afternoon. I hadn't eaten breakfast yet, and I was just starving, so I get a bite, and I'm chewing the first bite, and I'm like, son of a. It was pork, right? I could just taste it, and I was disgusted. I threw it in the trash can at the pump. I'm like, all right, I can see a Burger King. I don't want to go to a Burger King, but I can see the Burger King. I'm going to go to the Burger King. So I go to the Burger King. I get in line. I'm like, yeah, give me a double whatever, meat, cheese, ketchup, no bacon. They're like, got it, no bacon. I'm like, no bacon. This place is notorious for putting bacon on everything, right? Like, you don't even ask for bacon. You get a 10-piece nuggets, and there's a pound of bacon on top of it, right? Like, and so I'm like, 100% zero bacon. They're like, we got it, sir. And so I get it, and I'm like pulling out of the thing, and I turn into traffic, and I'm pulling up to the light, and I'm not even looking. I pull the burger out and take a bite. They put like 8 slices of bacon on this effing thing. And I'm like, son of a, I spit it out of my hand, throw it out the window, grab the bag, the whole bag with everything, and throw it out the window. I was like, forgive me, y'all, for littering, but get this shit out of my truck. I was so pissed. And I'm like, twice in 5 minutes, I had this garbage in my mouth. Ugh.
I just had that happen a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Went in. There was one marked beef and one marked cheese, or one obviously cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Grabbed one of each, ate the cheese slice, and then bit into the next slice, and it was supposed to be beef. It was definitely not beef.
Ugh.
And I was just like, yeah, it's crazy. It was like instantly, I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, Bear, thoughts on living near an Air Force base during SHTF around 4 to 5 miles away? What kind of Air Force base is it? If you're a tier 1 target, dig a hole and put some NBC filters in the hole. Yeah. If it's not a tier 1 target, this is why you do an area study, because you need to know what units are working out of that base, what kind of equipment those units have been tasked with, and what their mission is. What are they doing? Because all of that goes into the threat assessment. You can be, if you're 4 to 5 miles away from a mothball fleet, you're probably okay. If you're 4 to 5 miles away from Strategic Air Command, no, negative. That's a problem. Dig a hole, put some ventilation in it. Put some peat moss and buckets in there and a year's worth of food and a whole bunch of water, like 9 to 12,000 gallons of water, and be prepared to really like the people you're in that hole with, because you're going to be in there for a year. It all depends, but I would start with what is the base, what units are working out of that base, what equipment are they working with, and what is their mission? What have they been tasked with? And for the vast majority of that info, that's all OSINT. It's open source information. You can find it online. Just Google the base, and you'll usually find a landing page. The name of base.airforce.mil or whatever it is, and you'll find a landing page, and it'll say, "Oh yeah, the 535th Air Fighter Squadron." Okay, what do they do? What do they fly? Whoa, nice. So I would start with that. There's a base. It's not near to us, but it's not far to us. And for a while, they were just a guard base. And then all of a sudden they weren't. And they added 2 additional units working out of that base. And those units do a lot more than guard stuff. And I was like, oh, indicator, good to know. So something you want, again, that's also why you update your area study. You stay on top of those things because it changes, Forward Observer did a video called War in 90 Days. That was a pretty good video. And then S2 Underground had a video that they were talking about the proliferation of nuclear weapons and potential nuclear attacks. And due to China's hypersonic delivery system that they have now, the basic consensus is right now that the United States does not have a way to defend against multiple low Earth orbit hypervelocity delivery systems. And if China, the smart people are saying that if China was to attack, that they would launch 200 to 300 of those things at one time, and that our I forget what they call it, but it's our American equivalent of the Iron Dome is only 55% effective. And so they'd get somewhere between 100 and 200 warheads in, and that they would just hit, not just, they'd hit industrial targets, military targets, financial targets, total warfare, because that's what China does, is total warfare. You couple that, likely would be coupled with cyber attacks on the grid and on infrastructure and on finance, and you got chaos and calamity, dude. Now, I don't think that's probable right now, but I do think it is possible right now.
Well, they're the ones crazy enough to do it, because they're forward thinking enough that they'd be like, oh yeah, it'll be fine for us to move into in 150 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that they would need more assets forward deployed from China. Even not to say that they would invade the United States if they did something like that, but retaliation is a given. And so if I was them, the plan, the People's Liberation Army Navy, which is a stupid name. You got Army and Navy in the same friggin' name, but the PLAN, I would have as many of those assets deployed out to sea as I could. We learned this at Pearl Harbor. Don't have them sitting at harbor. And I would also get as much of my equipment moved around the map as I could, spread my, get all of my eggs out of one basket if I was them prior to that. And I know that we have people watching their military movements. But, we've got 3 things potentially kicking off anytime in the near future. You've got Russia, Ukraine, Belarus area, ? Poland. And if Belarus and Poland get into a pissing contest, we're now literally pitting, Russia versus the Western world. You've got China in the South China Sea, and now that's looking like China, and North Korea, which is a puppet state, and potentially Russia versus the U.S., Germany, Australia, Japan, Malaysia, New Zealand, and a couple of others. Great Britain question mark, and then you've got Iran and Israel, that whole region right there. And so, if you were gonna World War III, hey, break out the chessboard and let's start putting our pieces on the board and see what it looks like. That's a pretty good setup for World War III right there. I don't think the United States is strong enough currently to fight 3 wars at one time. We may not be strong enough to fight 2 wars at one time. So, and was it Einstein that said, I know not what the 3rd World War will be fought with, but the 4th World War will be fought with sticks and stones. So, I know not what weapons we will fight the 3rd World War with. Yeah, Hans, I agree. China versus Taiwan, which would pull the U.S. and potentially Japan into a conflict. So 100% chance if China goes active in that region, like hardcore on the offensive, that Japan is going to be embroiled in it because China has already leaked their plan for Japan. 4 nukes, and they're going to cut it into 4 pieces, and it's going to become a puppet state of the Chinese nation. That's their plan. And Japan is not interested in being the only nation on the planet that's been nuked twice. They're like, no, dude, no way. And so they've been reaching out a lot to their allies, namely us. I mean, Japan is essentially a protectorate of the United States at this point. And so they're like, hey, remember that time that y'all nuked us? And then you're like, so sorry, we'll be friends now. We won't let anything bad happen to you again. It's looking like some bad stuff might happen to us. Just how good of friends are we? So we'll see. But the thing, like, I only like to delve into stuff like that, which, Stalwart Peacekeeper over here, we had a conversation last night talking about one of the things that he has noticed that frustrates me is I operate on like a 401 level, and I oftentimes teach the things that I teach on YouTube at a 101 level, and Patreon's more of like a 201, 202 level. The 401 stuff, like the big overarching macro strategery, as your patch says, right? That stuff, the real high level stuff, I only like to delve into when I know that you already have your food put up and your agriculture is going. Your water situation is already squared away. You've already got a mag. You've already got an intel network. You're already doing all these other things. Now it makes sense for you to have macro concerns. But macro concerns should never trump micro needs. And most people haven't met their micro needs yet. And then they get caught in the weeds of what happens if China drops nuclear warheads on our forehead with hypersonic missile delivery systems. It's like, what happens is you die or you don't die. Do you have food in your pantry in case the power grid goes down again this winter? Like, do you have an alternate means of fuel? Do you know how to sleep in a hammock for 9 months? Because I know somebody who does. Like, is there a dog that will kill coyotes who try to eat your livestock? Like, are you getting the basic nitty gritty stuff figured out? Because if you're not getting the basic nitty gritty stuff figured out, you don't need to be concerned with the big picture stuff, because there's not a damn thing you or I can do about whether or not China goes hot. But there's plenty that we can do about whether or not we take control over where we are right now. Right. Yeah. Right. What's up, Corn-Fed? We were just talking about y'all. Your state, anyway. Not exactly large scale, can be money and time saver in the no-dig dowsing copy. Gunter Wisdom, for your sheep, do you have livestock dogs? Mine are 250 away from my house. Don't worry about coyotes because my dogs can't get to that part of the yard. Livestock guardian dogs are the bomb.com, yo, as long as they're appropriately trained.
The chat was talking about someone that's about to get sheep, and they plan on putting them about 300 yards from the house. They want to know if that was okay or if it was going to be a concern for coyotes here.
So,
right, coyotes will go there. Like,
no matter where you put your sheep, coyotes will go there.
mm-hmm.
Well, Sam just killed a coyote in the creek out by the front yard the other day, like
less than
20 yards from the sheep.
Yeah.
Well, less than 100 yards from the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, less than 100 yards from the house.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you put sheep, coyotes are always going to be a concern. And just like real world experience, you are not going to be able to respond nearly as well to a coyote threat as you think you are, because they're very stealthy. They're very quiet. They throw their voice. And so when they're near, they sound far away. And when they're far away, they sound near. It's also way harder to triangulate where a sound comes from in the country than you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And human beings, we're predators. Our eyes are in the front of our face. We have to be able to see the thing we're trying to kill in order to kill it. Whether that's nods or night vision scope or white light or whatever, you have to know that there's a threat, identify the threat, and then execute in order for you to be able to respond to it. And we're just not that good at it. I mean, I've killed a bunch of coyotes. We're still not that good at it.
Mm-hmm. And Milk Bunny, I think Leslie is a fairy.
Mm-hmm.
A fairy person.
Fairy person.
If my memory serves me correct. I know I am.
Yep.
But Sam runs perimeter. So like I will have him out with the livestock during heightened situations just to give him the experience and to teach him like what's normal. But his daily job is perimeter around the sheep pens and around the cows and around the property. So while the sheep are one of his targets, really this whole place is what he protects. And for that reason, I need to get another one day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to keep his bloodlines going anyway. He's such a damn good dog.
He is a damn good dog.
So donkeys are brutal.
Right. In with livestock.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
In with the livestock, donkeys are brutal, and they certainly can do a good job. But in order for a donkey to do its job, the threat is now inside of your fence. And that's the difference between a donkey and an LGD, is that an LGD, like you said, is going to work.
Well, they do like in a big field.
Yeah,
but
for sure. But an LGD will work the perimeter and keep that threat outside of the fence, whereas a donkey can't do anything about it until it's inside of the fence. And so depending on what size paddock you have, what your pasture looks like, if you've got sheep on 200 acres and it's all perimeter fenced and they just roam that 200 acres and there's some donkeys in with them, cool, that'll work.
Right.
But if you're, doing, 1 acre pens, 5 acre pens, 10 acre pens, having an LGD is probably a better way to go. And donkeys they're not dogs. It's not that they're not smart. Right. They are.
Well, a lot of LGDs get a bad name for being roamers. But let me tell you, that's the dog or the training or lack of training that dog has had. Because you can totally train an LGD to stay within a specified boundary.
Yeah, there's a command for that. Far enough.
Right.
That's far enough.
And enough far enough, and they learn, okay, I don't go that way.
My wife wants to get a donkey for our place.
I told her she already has a jackass.
I wanted to get grandma a donkey just so we could tell people that she had a nice ass.
We met one when we were looking at properties.
Yeah, you did.
And it followed us everywhere.
That was like the biggest selling point on the property.
I know.
Like it has a donkey.
Can we keep the donkey?
It's like we get a donkey anywhere. What else we got going on? Donkeys also have to be raised with sheep or goats. Yep. We have a llama. No coyotes troubling our sheep, but we did have a bobcat go after 2 ewes. Can't stop a cat. Time to get an Aussie. Our last one was great in protecting our livestock. So big cats are a whole nother thing. And there are big cats in this area. I've seen cat prints back in the woods that are about yay big around. Not quite as big as Sam's paw, but pretty damn big. And if you know what you're looking at, you can easily tell the difference between a dog paw and a cat's paw. And they were 100% cat's paws. So, and they are stealthy. All the big cats that I've encountered in the wild, and I've run into a few of them, not a lot, but a few of them. I smelled them before I ever saw them, and I never heard them. And I just happened to be downwind from them, and they smelled like putrefaction, and I could smell them, and I turned and looked, and I saw a very big cat moving, and I'm me, and I was like, I'm not gonna hang around here. I'm gonna go. Bad idea. So
I should get out of here like right now.
Ain't no dog big enough for mountain lions. I'd put Sam up against a mountain lion.
I put a couple of Sams against him.
I've seen him break a lot of necks.
Caucasian Shepherd.
Yeah. What are those giant Russian lion-looking dogs?
Caucasian
Is that those? Oh, those things are. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Perfectly fine for
hell yeah! You need a deer a day to feed those things.
It'll eat a mountain lion.
Hell yeah! Those things are huge. Yep. Badass dogs. Yep. What else we got going on, chat? Or Cane Corso. Yep. What breed of dog is Sam? Why don't you answer that, sweetie?
He's an Anatolian Pyrenees. So he's totally kind of a mutt, because even Anatolian Pyrenees, like, he doesn't have paperwork from either line. I don't really know much about either of his lines. I didn't really know much about him when I got him. I had come to the fairy training page probably 2 months before I got Sam. And a friend of mine had suggested it. And I just kind of followed and watched and saw how the group ran and what was expected. And what the lady, Tamara, was saying, the lessons that she was teaching with the training, just, it spoke to me. I was like, this makes sense. This is, and we had a dog before that we had to put down because it had attacked our first flock of sheep and killed them. And before that instance, she was a damn good dog. But I took that really hard, and I was like, I am not going to fail another dog, but we need a dog. And then Fairy came along. Fell in love with Fairy, and I will speak so highly of them because they know what the hell they're doing. And it's not throw your dog out with the livestock. It is, they are a member of your family, your pack, and you treat them as such. And because of that, when you care about your animals, they care about the animals. And they are very much so your helper. They don't run the house. They don't run the sheep, but they are your helper. And every single time that Sam does not know what to do or how to react to a situation, he looks at me. He says, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to handle this? And we go from there. But it's that of him getting the okay for me and not just doing whatever the hell he wants to do that is that shepherd LGD relationship. And not everybody has that with their dog. Do you have a hoop house or a greenhouse for gardening? Not yet. It's on my to-do list. And
neither.
I've got it planned right here. Got raised beds to go inside of it, but I have not done it
Yet.
I will probably do it in the dead of winter.
The
Chicken Farmer Plus brought up a good point also. If you have multiple LGDs, even if they're not a bigger breed, they'll work together to tree large cats.
Yep.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What rifle would you recommend for someone who's fairly new to guns and asking AR platform? Good to put a ton of rounds through as well as a very long last time. Hey Phelps, could you hand me that one behind you right there, please?
Sure thing.
Thank you, sir. This one, PSA, Palmetto State Armory.
See, Sam sees the gun and he's like, "What are we doing?"
Are you gonna
What's
feed me,
going
Dad?
on?
Yep, he knows what's up. Palmetto State Armory, carbine length, pencil barrel, lightweight. This whole gun, as shown, with the light, with the dot sight, with the loaded magazine, weighs 6.5 pounds. It's here. Hold it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. PSA pencil barrel. Love
There you
this gun. You look so tough too.
Thank you. Barrels are the stocks a little long for me.
What's this?
I know it shortens.
Ta-da! There you go, Mr. Phelps. Thank you, sir. That gun has probably 4,500 rounds to it as of right now. I've had one malfunction, and that was because it was dirty. That was my fault. So, Jay Moore, shalom. Yeah, I'm aware PSA's got a bear logo lower. What's up, dude? What do you want, Sam?
He's like, I thought we were eating things.
I thought you were going to shoot things. I just got you a replacement battery for your light.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But you just can't go wrong with PSA, man. I've got a bunch of their rifles, AR platform and AK platform, and AR-10 platform, and they're well made. They're not Bravo Company. They're not Daniel Defense. They're not Noveski. But for the money, they work, and they work really well. So, now he's flexing. Hey, Justin, you want to see a flex? That's just that one rifle. So remember when Ammo Apocalypse started and everybody was like, oh my gosh, how can you afford to shoot? And this is a flex. I made a bunch of people mad when I said, do you think I started prepping when the Ammo Apocalypse started? Negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been shooting stash for the last 2 years. What? I love it. What is it? Hi. What? Did you know we were talking about you?
He does.
Yep. Good dog. Can't stay. Phone is about to die. Bless you, Bear and Bear Clan. And thanks for all the info and content. Thank you. Expand freedom. I recently got a BCA upper and 350 Legend with side charging handle for deer hunting. It seems pretty good option for a boutique round. So I have currently one BCA upper 20-inch and 5.56 side charging. And I can tell you from personal experience, it does not work with a force reset trigger. That was kind of a letdown. But it also is very, very accurate, which I was surprised by because the first one that they sent me was not at all accurate. It was minute of paper plate at 100 yards, not minute of angle 1 inch approximately. So I sent it back and told them that, hey, this is unacceptable. And then they sent me another one that shoots 1 inch groups, no problem. So that's shooting from a plastic table at our range. And I was doing the, the man dress squat. I did not have a good position, not even shooting from the prone. So if it'll shoot like that, not even shooting from the prone, it'll shoot really well. So I can see now that if I was camped in my teepee at bear camp, Sam would probably come investigate the teepee.
Oh yes,
Oh yeah, he knows everything that's up around here.
he walks
He comes
everybody
in.
home.
Yeah, he
Yep.
comes and checks on me multiple times throughout
Yep.
the night.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Like Phelps is our people,
Mm-hmm.
and so we care about Phelps. So he cares about Phelps. He's like, I got to make sure he's all right. Can't let no possum nibble on his toes.
For sure. Zeus Hefe, any tips for shooting steel targets? Is ricochet a concern? Absolutely, it's a concern. But the farther you get from the target, the less of a concern it is. But
Yeah, you got hit with one, didn't you? Like,
Yeah.
It hit your boot or something, didn't it?
Yep. My pant leg.
Yeah.
Hit my pant leg. The copper jackets on FMJ can and oftentimes will smash off the lead inner core or the steel core if you're shooting 62 grain LAP at steel armor or steel armored plates, AR 500 targets, bro. Copper is gonna be flying all over the place, and so don't be right up on the targets. I don't shoot steel plates with handguns inside of 10 yards, and 15's better. Make sure, gosh, we talk about this in class. The best way to deal with an eye injury is to wear your effing eye protection so that you don't get an eye injury. Like, you're so much better off just wear the safety squints and call it good. And then with rifle, you're talking very high velocity rifle rounds. Even a 10.5-inch AR shooting 55 grain is going to have about 2,400 foot per second on that round, up to 3,200 foot per second on a 20-inch barrel. Those rounds go fast, dude. Really, really fast. There's a lot of energy in those rounds. And so you don't want to be right up on them. I mean, steel with a rifle, anything closer than 20 yards, you're just asking for it.
That energy has to go somewhere.
Yeah, that energy has to go somewhere. And the target doesn't really absorb it. It just redirects it. And so you can get, if you really want to pay a bunch of money and shoot closer than that, you can get what's called frangible ammunition, which is like it's like sintered powder rounds that just kind of when they hit the target. And it's expensive, but you don't have to worry about ricochet with that. The downside of that is it can cause malfunctions in some guns. Specifically, Glock is not a brand that's known for having good engagement on the rifling for lead type ammo. And the sintered is not a jacketed round. There's no copper on the outside of it. And so, but if you can't hit an A-zone size target at 7 yards with your pistol anyway, it's probably time to rethink your training regimen. So, I don't have enough a war belt yet, but I made the jump to get a vest. Will be another 2 months saving to get a belt. Well, that's very cool, Sean Williams. At least you're working on it. I like the commentary of the recent Patreon videos on this. I learned that you should stand in front of the hole under the house before you shoot the skunk with a 9mm. Through and through center mass stuff, stinky. Yeah. Shooting skunks sucks. Like, there's no winner when we have to shoot a skunk. About half the time, if you can get a headshot on them, they won't spray. But you still got to move them, even if they don't spray, and they still smell like skunk. They're still nasty. Tabar, you're correct. I didn't touch on that. Slope the targets downward towards the ground as well. You want the target canted like this, so when the round hits, it bounces down towards the ground rather than back at you.
Or those swivel targets.
Yeah, or the swivel targets. That's another good point. So, PSA, Franklin Farmstead.
He was asking for the name for the logo.
Yeah. I'm one of the approximately 17% of the population genetically predisposed to liking the smell of skunk. Whoa, bro. The Bear logo PSA requires buying into their firearms insurance? Really? What's up, Storms? Definitely need a bomb disposal robot for any scouts. That's a good idea. We should probably get one of those. I bet you like DOD's got one laying around somewhere. We just get a grant for it.
Explosive ordnance.
Yeah. Let's call our dudes at the ordnance company.
That blow shit up.
Yeah, be like, we need a robot for skunks to tow behind our Bearcat that we're also going to get.
Yep.
Palmetto State Armory. That's correct, Major Ken. We all know why you like the smell of skunk. LOL. Whoa, man. What's up, Titanium Legs? Hey, Bear, attending Arizona Level 1 and Level 3, 2,300-mile drive for training. Well, bless you. Thank you for going. That's awesome.
That might be the longest drive.
That might be the longest drive. I mean, we did have somebody from Alaska that came to Dallas.
He flew, though.
He flew.
Yeah.
Okay. Did he fly?
Yep.
That's incredible.
San Antonio.
That's awesome. Armory, a couple PSAs. Hey, Ozark Geek. Yes, it was indeed a great Shabbat. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was a good time. Everybody is well on this end, Storms. Hope you're doing well as well. I have discovered that skunks here don't like aluminum pie tins for whatever reason. Who knew? Interesting.
Chat's always a little weird.
Chat's always a little weird. We're all a little weird. We're just, unlike the rest of America, we just wear it on the outside rather than keeping it stuffed down deep inside. I can't be up too late tonight. We got training tomorrow.
Oh, so I'm going to turn on a pumpkin in like 8 minutes.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I got to remember to take my wallet out of these pants and put them in my war pants for tomorrow. What was your biggest accomplishment for 2021 and your biggest project for 2022? That's a great question. I don't know. Biggest accomplishment for 2021. We're still here despite the global pandemic. The businesses are really growing. We now have the deed in hand for the land for Caleb House. I'll be doing an official announcement on that in the very near future, but that's a huge accomplishment. And we saved a bunch of people's lives. It's a pretty big accomplishment. And hell, I don't know. We're still here. We're still doing what we do. You know, we are blessed that we get to teach people to be more like us. And that's very cool. You know, and then goals for 2022. Yeah. Caleb House, train even more people, sell even more first aid kits, replace my barn with an actual barn. You know, I'm a pretty simple man, actually, you know.
Well, yeah, don't forget that these accomplishments for 2021, you assisted with the facilitation of me, Twitch, JA, all comping.
Launch pad.
Remember that was this year?
Yeah. Is it this year?
Yep.
We've okay, so we've launch padded 3 people,
Yep.
3 families, and we've got more coming.
Well, yeah. I'll say, and then also the Delgados, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. That's 4.
Penny and JT. But
Yeah.
different.
Well, they didn't launch pad,
Right.
but they're here.
You can't hurt.
Yeah. Deed to the land for Caleb House. Yeah, this is the first of many to be built. Amen, Sean. So we just keep doing what we're doing. You know, I'm actually pretty bad at the stop and smell the roses and take stock of your accomplishments stuff. I'm actually really bad at that.
Outhouse is functional.
Yeah, the outhouse is functional. It only took us a year from Sakot to Sakot. No big deal. We're still here. And I have every intention of still being here in 2022 as well, doing what we do as good or better than we do it now. And I firmly believe the Father's going to continue to send more people and send more business and continue to bless Caleb House and Grindstone, and we're just going to keep doing what we do, you know. And that's not like it's not a throwaway. Like that's the mission. Keep doing what we do, you know.
Yep.
And I mean, we put up literal tons of food in 2021. Got the above ground pool put up, which is a beautiful duck pond right now. Absolutely gorgeous duck pond. Cleared some land for some brothers. I think technically the longhouse at Shofar was built in 2021. So that's a big deal. We went from one vendor for American-made pouches to 3. I mean, I don't know, man.
Exponentially, like growth on orders. And
oh yeah, everything is just grown. I don't know. I can't pinpoint any of it off the top of my head. I'd have to. Maybe I should really just sit down and think about.
Yeah.
But it's when you're in it. You and I were talking about this. When you're in it, you don't realize it. You know, a peacekeeper was on the road and he come back from training, and he's like, every time I come back, something's different. You guys are always doing something, and like maybe you don't realize it, but you're always making improvements. You're always doing something.
From last year to this year, this homestead would not be recognized.
I appreciate that. I've done a lot of tree work this year. It's just done a lot. That's the thing. If you take 6 days Yisha labor seriously, you end up getting a lot of stuff done. You know?
Yep.
And then people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how you do it all. I don't do it all. And everybody who's doing it with me, like we all take it seriously. You know, and if people miss that, you know, I'm happy for people when they're like, hey Bear, I'm keeping the Sabbath. And I'm like, that's awesome. Praise Yah. Are you doing the first half of that command? And usually they're like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, it says 6 days ye shall labor. That means get after it 6 days a week. So I've been running around my house chanting ATS repeatedly for the last 2 weeks. Awesome. Bless you, brother Chad. We did ATS. The first ATS was in 2021 as well, Arming the Saints. First women's retreat. We've got we'll be announcing that to the men's group and women's group as well. The dates for that in the near future. I have Moonlight. I can confidently say that you guided me back to God, Bear, after a very long time of being distant. God bless you and your community. Praise Yah, Moonlight. Praise Yah. That's absolutely awesome.
2022. Hummy's been getting all the infrastructure set up for a lot more gardening next year.
Yep. More agriculture in 2022.
Hoop house, hopefully.
Yep.
Going in over the winter.
Another men's retreat, another women's retreat. Barn, commo shack.
Expansion on business.
Solar power, wind power, business expansion. Caleb house. Minor stuff. So all little stuff. Yeah.
75 hard rounds, 6 and 7.
75 hard rounds, 6 and 7. Yeah, I tried. We'll have finished cycle 2, 75 hard in 2021. So, yeah, I just don't think that way.
Yeah.
I'm very linear in my approach. Like we talk about this.
You also don't spend too much time being distracted by what you're hoping to get done and dwelling on what's already been done. If it's not right in front of you, needing to get done, you don't spend a whole lot of time dwelling on it.
That's correct. There's too much to do at least for me, to just get inundated by it. You just execute. Because it really, you just get to the point where you only got two choices. You're either going to do what's in front of you or you're not. And occasionally I get overwhelmed. And usually when I do, it's about every 3 months, I start feeling overwhelmed. And I go on a lunch date with myself and I take my notebook and I'll go and get lunch. I go to a place around here, I get a ribeye and some asparagus, a big glass of water, and I'll sit down and I'll just puke everything in my mind out on the paper with no order or structure whatsoever. And then I go back through it and I literally just write line items of things that are robbing my joy or pissing me off or just grinding my gears, whatever, right? I'll just line after line after line. And then I'll go back through and I'll look at those. And if there are things I can't do anything about, I just cross them off. And if there are things I can do something about, I will go and I'll write a paragraph or at least a couple of sentences on each thing. The audio quality of my videos suck. Okay. I'm going to fix that by getting a Blue Yeti microphone for the porch, and I'm going to get a Shure USB microphone that hooks to my iPhone that I'm going to film with, and that will fix that. Barrier to entry, $400, $200 per microphone. Okay, how soon can I execute on this? Today. Within 1 month? Okay, within 30 days. And I'll go through and I'll write a paragraph for each one of these things, and then I will order them in a priority based upon what I decide is the most important to the least important. And then when you see that, you realize there's only so much stuff that you can pay any attention to at one time. That's why you start feeling overwhelmed. It's like, I can't do it all. Well, a lot of that, and here's the thing. There's a matrix for this. We talk about this on the upper tiers. If it's urgent and important, that's something that you do. Preferably right now. If it's important but not urgent, you plan it. If it's not urgent, if it's not important and not urgent, you just get rid of it. If it's important and not urgent, you delegate it. Like, so you have these 4 columns, right? Or 4 boxes. And so if it's urgent and important, I got to do it right now. That's what you do right now. The rest of the stuff, you either plan to do it another time because it's important, but it's not urgent. If it's urgent but not important, you delegate it. And you get to decide what important looks like. And if it's not urgent and not important, why are you worried about it? You just get rid of it. So I do that about every 90 days. And it's interesting to go back and look at what your notes were from the last 90 days and see what's been robbing you of your joy. And it's like, gosh dang, that was nothing. No big deal.
Or it highlights what's been on this list for 3 meetings.
if you have recurring things, it's like, I'm not properly dealing with this issue. I need to be better at this. I need to do something about this. So I hope push-ups in heaven are easier. Well, I got news for you. You don't have to do push-ups in heaven because you're going to be doing 2 things: worshiping continuously at the throne of Yah and serving him and doing whatever he tells you to do. So maybe if he tells you to do push-ups, you'll be doing push-ups, but you probably don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, personally, I hope to have land next year.
Mm-hmm. If a day is as 1,000 years and 100 years is a day to Yah, and we're trying to emulate Yeshua, who is Echad, upcoming 1,000 years hard. Sorry, I forgot the multiplier, 75,000 years hard. No, I'm not doing 75. Well, here's the other thing, too. Yeshua talks about this. They are neither eating nor drinking or giving in marriage in heaven. You're not a fleshly body in heaven. Don't need to worry about it. Priorities are completely different up there on the other side of the firmament or whatever you believe. So his ways are not our ways. His ways are higher than our ways. And we don't need to, this fleshly body, this meat suit, this sleeping bag of cells that we wear is nothing more than a vessel for the eternal soul that belongs to Yah. That's it. And I really think that this life is a proving ground for what comes next. And it's to help us learn the ways of Yah so that we can and will be in service to him when we shuffle off this mortal coil. I need to find a Viking crew here in North Carolina or start one. Why don't you just go with start one? Now, if there's already one there, then yeah, you should join them. If there's not, just start one. Do the things, man. No biggie. I have a good question for y'all. What other channels or content creators would you like to see me collab with in 2022? What do y'all think about that? Revolting Man is not that far from me. That's a good person to know. I'm a few hours past bedtime. Good night, Tavar. Reed Hendricks. Revolting Man. Copy. Alan K. Working on that. I don't know. That's an interesting question. Hubby voted prepper nurse. I've reached out to her, but she's never reached back. Grand Thumb is way outside of my league. Revolting Man, not a problem, though. Reed, copy. Magic Prepper. I like that one. Southern Prepper 1 seems like a good guy. A lot of skin in the game. Rex, working on that as well. What's up, QRF? Patriot Nurse. Yep. Lots on the Patriot Nurse. I like her. I've reached out to her a couple of times. Never heard anything back. I imagine she's probably busy like I am. But, you know, if you're following those people's channels, it doesn't hurt for y'all to, you know, drop an earworm on them as well and say, hey, you guys should go. You guys should go hang out with Bear. Alan K. Emery. Emery's a great guy. Patriot Nurse. Reed, off the top of my head. What's up, Shrek? I like Bear. I talk about him on my channel. Just saying, what's up, Canuck? Yeah, we'd have to. Jocko, I agree. That'd be awesome. We need to get a hold of Valor Ridge and see if we can play in their sandbox. I know Grand Thumb is just a man. I also happen to know that Grand Thumb is the #1 influencer for the Leviathan group, and it costs a ton of money to even begin to play in their sandbox, and it is a pay to play. If you ever, so here's the thing, man, a little peek behind the curtain. All that is called influencer marketing or TPA, third party advertising. And Garantham doesn't make a video about gear that he hasn't been paid an ass load of money to make. I'm not going to tell you how much. I know how much, but it would be bad of me. It'd be bad business of me to tell you how much, but it's a lot of friggin' money to make a video. You don't just show up, whether you're a piece of equipment or another person, in a Garantham video. Paul Harrell. That'd be great. I think I'd enjoy Paul. Monkey Works. You know, I like Monkey Works. I don't think he likes me. I've emailed him a bunch of times. In fact, I even saw in one of his monkey minutes that he does about the Bible, he said shalom at the end of his video. And I sent him an email and I said, hey, man, I noticed you said shalom. That's cool. We should talk sometime. And the next video he did, he absolutely did not say shalom at the end of it. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if he's even aware of who I am, but I just get the impression he don't like me because I've reached out to him a half a dozen times as well. I'd like to see more about the groups that fight trafficking. Low-key Observer, here's the problem with that. It's very difficult to discuss anything when it comes to anti-trafficking, because operational security is the primary concern. If you mess that up, people get killed. It also makes it difficult to raise awareness, and awareness equates to fundraising, and it's incredibly expensive and time-consuming to do these types of rescue operations, to say nothing of how expensive and time-consuming. You're talking years, if not decades, for the restoration side. But you can't talk overly much about it, because if you do, you're literally giving information to your enemy away. And the cartels believe these children to be their product. And when you go steal their product from them and then get on the internet and talk about it, you know what happens? And this has happened before. They show up and steal the product back and kill people in the process. And so it's not something that can really be openly discussed because of operational security. Wrangler Star seems he has been looking into the Bear Independent. I agree. I'd like to do some work with Wrangler Star. I like him a lot. Monkey Works is set on pre-trib. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe he should read his freaking Bible and get off of that pre-trib bullshit. Sasquatch Theory, Survival Lily. Warrior Poet. Yeah. Stinky Cheese video with Mad Kelt. I think I should. Pinball Preparedness and Prepper Nurse 1 are also solid channels. I for some reason, I have not been invited back to the Prepper 101 chats. That I think it's because I made fun of them, but I burst their little Q bubble, and I haven't been invited back there. But Pinball was on a lot of those that I was on at the time, and they were all like, "Oh, Bear, we love you. You're awesome." I'm like, "Cool. Well, I just want to let you guys know that you're high AF on hopium, and you need to knock that shit out." And all of a sudden, I wasn't invited to play in their sandbox anymore. I like Angry Prepper. I've been on his show once. I'm happy to go back on it again. And I don't dislike any of these other people as well. I just understand the machinations behind the scenes as to what it takes to collab with those people. Do you think a war on cartel may be the next war on drugs? Nobody has the stomach for a war on the cartel. The cartel's better trained and better outfitted than the Mexican army is. And that's a fact. Pastor Joe. I agree with that one. The thing is, most of the time when I see him, we're either doing things we don't want on camera or it's Shabbat. So Elijah as a guest on You Are Here. Nice. Been talking to Elijah. If you're meeting Elijah Schaefer, I've been talking to his producer, Savannah. She's a cool cat as well. Trying to set something up. I think the other thing that is perhaps misunderstood is how much availability plays into these things. Between my schedule and their schedule, it's like the stars have to align just right, and a tree frog in Omaha has to fart into the wind coming from the northeast in order to make the butterflies fly, to refract the sun rays, to hit the diamond that shoots the rainbow into the eyeballs of the 747 driver, so that allows the cell signal to bounce off the atmosphere just right to make the email land in my inbox at the appropriate time that my calendar hasn't quite filled up yet. Like, there's a lot of moving parts there. You know, Canuck, that's not a bad way of looking at it, but it's one more thing to administer. So, yeah. What's up, Bama Buckeye? Glenn Beck. Yeah, Glenn Beck ain't coming on my show. I also know what it costs to be on Glenn's show. Glenn's not coming on my show. And I can't afford to be on his show. Chris Hogan, that's correct. If you go with Paul Harrell, you just have to schedule for a teeth cleaning. Yeah, Tavar. It's bedtime for me, too. I would love to see Allie Beth interview you. Allie Beth Stuckey, she seems like a cool kiddo. I've actually met her a couple of times, but I don't think that she would remember me. or if she did, it would be in passing only because it was in there's one main hallway at Mercury Studios, which is where the Blaze is filmed, and everything is off that main hallway and kind of that main drag right there. They do a lot of their little spot interviews and their fillers and all of that. So, well, I'm gonna go to bed. We got training in the morning. Thank y'all, Patreon, for hanging out with us, and we'll see you soon. Shalom.